What's going on, guys? Danny here from Metal Couch, and today I'm bringing you another track review. Today we're going to be talking about Act of Defiance's Refrain and Refracture. Now, Act of Defiance, made up of Chris Broderick and Sean Drover, who just left Megadeth earlier this year, and, I think Chris Broderick's a pretty good guitarist, so I decided to follow his little adventure into this band, and I didn't review Throwback for a reason. I listened to the track, I didn't really enjoy it, and felt that maybe there are other tracks that are going to be out on this album, or maybe some more previews that'll come out, that will have me a little bit more optimistic about this album. Refrain and Refracture came out yesterday, and I just listened to it 2 times today. Okay, where do I even start? I want to preface this by saying that I think Chris Broderick is a great guitarist. I think he's a pretty cool guy. I've never really liked Sean Drover's work in Megadeth at all. I think he's one of the most generic drummers that they've ever had. He didn't really bring much to the table, and even though we fully don't know what went on with that situation with those two leaving Megadeth, this is what they're doing now. It's like, I'm having a flashback towards Megadeth in the 90s where Nick Menza and Marty Friedman went off to do their own thing. Like, this is what it kind of reminds me of. And Marty Friedman went on to put out some pretty awesome stuff. Refrain and Refracture. Let's start with the vocals, because I think this is the part this is the section that needs to be talked about the most. I can't stand the vocals for either Throwback or this song. I don't know who this guy is. I've never heard of him before. But this song has horrible, horrible vocals. Like, it's this kind of... This song is structured in a way where it's this... Especially Throwback. Like, Throwback was like a metalcore kind of piece of shit. And then you have this one, which doesn't even know what it wants to be. It's having an identity crisis because of this vocalist. This song starts out okay, then the vocals come in. The vocals are by far the piece in this puzzle that is corrupting and destroying this. I absolutely cannot stand this vocalist. It sounds like shitty metalcore. And Chris Broderick, he's a pretty good player. He deserves better than that. He can find better than that. Moving on. Drums. As I mentioned before, Sean Drover really didn't add much to Megadeth in terms of his drumming, in my opinion. I think the same can apply for this song as well. At no point did I feel like the drums were really doing anything out of the ordinary or doing anything that made it shine or be exceptional. Like, the drum production is your standard modern drum production in heavy metal. It's just, it's there. It's there because it needs to be there. Because without drums, you don't really have much of a rhythm section. You don't know what you're... Like, it's just there. It's there because they need it. Not because it wants to be there. Do you know what I mean? Like... It's hard to describe that. It's just, it's there. But it's not doing anything out of the ordinary. It's doing its job. And when you come in and play music just because it's your job, and not because you want to be creative or you want to do something special, it just gets boring. Super boring. Chris Broderick's guitar playing. As I mentioned before, I really like Chris Broderick as a guitarist. He's a pretty cool guy. Nothing really to shine on here. Not even the solo. Again, I think that this song suffers from, when it comes to the solo, it suffers from the fact that he's soloing just for the sake of having a solo in the song. And the solo is very reminiscent of Super Collider era Megadeth. Like, no, Super Collider being a horrible, horrible album. Like, again, it's just, here's a generic shred guitar solo. He's better than this. I'm sure that Sean Drover's better than whatever he's doing, or maybe not, because I haven't heard anything good from him ever, and he's been in that band for over a decade. He was in Megadeth for almost a decade, and now he's here, and he's not doing anything different. And the sad part is that I look on Facebook, I look on Twitter, and everybody is super excited for this album, and I can't understand why. They've put out 2 tracks so far, and the 2 tracks have been absolute complete garbage. But no, people want to eat it up, because Chris Broderick, Sean Drover, it's got the names in there. They'll eat it right up. I mean, I don't really know what to say about this other than it's an absolute train wreck considering the pedigree. I don't find it enjoyable at all. I don't even, in some places, I don't even understand what their goal is. What they want to create makes no sense because they have this vocalist who wants to go with that metalcore style, but you can see that Chris Broderick wants to go with like a speedy metal shred kind of deal. It doesn't make much sense. 2 opposite things colliding and not meshing together. They're repelling each other. And it's unfortunate because I want there to be... I would love to hear a good Chris Broderick album. Like, I want to be able to hear that, but this is not it. Maybe some years down the line, maybe if they fire this vocalist, which would be the first thing that you should do, is get rid of this guy because he sucks. That would be great. I mean, the song's like a little over 5 minutes long, or maybe it's closer to 6 minutes. And it's boring. It's boring to me. If I had to give Refrain and Refracture a grade out of 10, I would give it a 3.5. It's pretty bad. It's pretty boring. It doesn't add anything. It doesn't bring anything to the table. Doesn't revolutionize anything. It's less than mediocre. It's just, it exists. And that's disappointing considering the players involved and how much weight they're able to throw around. Even if Sean Drover's a mediocre drummer, you still got Broderick there. Broderick knows what he's doing. You should watch the guy play whenever he's not doing Megadeth stuff. The guy knows how to play. It's just a shame that that is not displayed here on this album. And you know what? Maybe this album will come out and I'll be completely wrong. And you know what? That would be great if this album comes out and I am completely wrong. But so far, these 2 tracks, I am not looking... Future is not bright for this act of Defiance. 3.5 out of 10 for me. Danny here from Metal Couch, signing out.